What's going on, guys? So, firstly, I just want to say that I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say with what's going on in the world. But that it breaks my heart. What I do know is that my heart felt called to say something. Because I know that there are many others like myself who feel helpless during a time like this. And it could be difficult to navigate ourselves. You know, it could be easy to turn a blind eye and to not focus on it, which can serve purpose in different ways, especially if you need to recollect yourself and just get in tune with yourself, which is always important. You know, I don't believe in bullying anybody to speak their truth or to say something that they're not ready to. And so I really have no judgment towards anyone who is not speaking, who is speaking, who doesn't know what to say. There's no judgment anywhere. Everyone's in their own process, whether they feel it or not. What I can say is that all of this has absolutely just broken my heart. You know, from George Floyd to when I saw the video of the 16-year-old boy get sniped in the face, Brad Levi Ayala, my heart broke. And I don't know what to say. What it did do is it did make me reflect. It really made me reflect on my position in the world and what role I play. Not from a space of feeling like I need to do something because everyone else is doing something, and I don't want to judge myself for not doing something or shame myself for not doing something, because that's not love either. That's fear. But I reflected just from a space of self-honesty and wonder, and just simply asking the question of God, what can I do? What can I do? What can I say? How can I serve? And the answer I got when I meditated and I asked God, what can I do? The words I heard was, just be yourself. And in the moment, the inner me bellowed and roared with this voice that was just like, that's not enough. And I've never heard myself roar that before, you know, since, for those of you who know me, I'm all about just beingness. But what it revealed to me in that moment was that pain inside me that was suppressed, that was believing that just being myself was not enough, was where the answers lay, was where the information lay. Because it made me realize that the reason why I had this feeling of helplessness, of feeling like I don't know what to do, like I'm just me, I'm just one person. There's all this crazy shit going on in the world. What am I supposed to do? You know, I'm the mystic guy. I teach people about their gifts and all that stuff. But that question of, I don't know what to do, was really rooted in, I don't know who to be. I don't know how to show up as myself in this situation because of that feeling of helplessness. And so when I sat with that, that's what called me into action. That's what led me here, because through deepening in myself, in my heart, in my beingness, I was able to find the truth and to let that truth spring me into action to simply use my voice here for whatever purpose it might serve. Because I know there's a lot of you here now and listening to this who feel the same way. There are those of you who feel angry. There are those of you who feel helpless. I've had some of my white friends reach out to me just expressing that, they don't know what to do and they feel ashamed for not saying anything because, because of what's being portrayed in social media and how they're being told if they don't say anything that they're a part of the problem, that they're racist. And that's not right either. That's bullying someone into speaking up. That's not love. And I understand where it's all coming from. So on one level, I just wanted to speak to that. I wanted to speak to and speak up for anyone who feels helpless, anyone who feels like they don't know what to do or who to be, or who's angry and who's enraged. And the only thing I could really suggest is to just speak your truth, no matter how scary it may be. And to let your truth lead you towards whatever actions, because, even me being here now, I was afraid. I'm like, before clicking the live button, I'm like, what am I supposed to say? I don't have the answers. What am I supposed to say? But this is what I have right now. And speaking my heart is all I've got in this moment. And I will continue to call myself forth. Not out of any type of pressure, but just purely out of love, out of a deeper seeing of myself and what's wanting to happen. And that's what I invite you guys into. As I was reflecting on the situation and just what's needed, I was reflecting on the other side. I was reflecting on the quote unquote evildoers, those who are doing wrong, those who are murdering and killing. And I was just reflecting on them with the intention of better understanding them, because it doesn't help for us to create further separation. It doesn't help for us to hate them, to say that there's us and them, and to create further separation, because that separation is the problem, a big part of the problem. And so I was reflecting on them and asking myself, what am I not seeing? What is it? What are their perspectives? And all I could see was that they're angry, They don't care. They feel superior. They feel afraid. They have pain that perhaps they aren't aware of, so they feel numb. And when you feel numb, you act in really stupid and misguided ways. They have lots of greed and lust. And with all the perspectives that I was able to see, just to understand, just with the intention of understanding, all I could say is, okay, so what? Yeah, I could see it. I could see the perspectives. I strongly, fully don't agree with them, but I could see their perspectives. I could see the perspectives of the killers and where they might be coming from and how they might be misguided. And when I say misguided, what I mean is that they're clearly not coming from love. And what I could recognize is in all those perspectives that I've mentioned, in the feeling afraid and feeling in pain and feeling numbed and feeling superior and feeling greed and feeling lust, I could also recognize that I've felt all those emotions myself before, which made me realize even deeper how there is no separation between us other than the one that we create. And so the only conclusion that I've come to so far is to simply ask ourselves the question, where do they most need love? What would love do in this scenario? Unfortunately, I'm sure that many more will end up having to die. And even in that scenario, even in those cases, we need to stand in love. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I don't have the answers. But what I do know is that whatever misguidedness, whatever fear, whatever pain that they are feeling, assuming that they're feeling our resentment, our rebellion, they may just have these places of power, so to speak, quote unquote power, where they're running the world and the governments, but it doesn't mean that they don't feel the emotions that we throw at them, and they don't feel a sense of tyranny from us as people, which puts them on the defense, the offense. And so the only thing I can see is to ask ourselves where we could include them in love and what actions might that spring forth from us, as opposed to coming from a us versus them perspective. It reminds me of the words of Yeshua, of Jesus. Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. And I'm not even a Christian. I'm not any religion. But I understand those words deeply now. Because it's as painful as it is for me to say this. It is only through taking a moment for us to find forgiveness, for us to feel forgiveness, can we see the clarity that we need to see in order to move forward into more unity and peace amongst all of us. and to come up with the ideas and the actions and the inspirations that can start to bring more harmony. Because when I say forgive, I don't mean forget. When I say forgive, what I mean is that we don't deserve to carry the pain that we've been carrying that keeps us in the chaos of what's going on. That pain of anger and resentment and injustice is what keeps us taking actions in those forms, actions of injustice, actions of rebellion, actions of violence. We're acting on that pain because we blame them, and it's 100% valid. However, it is only through finding forgiveness in ourselves, being forgiveness, forgiving ourselves for feeling those toxic feelings, because we know that's not who we are. We know we're not unjust people. We know we're not violent people. We know we're not resentful people. So taking the time to find forgiveness in ourselves is the releasing of that baggage, is the releasing of that misery in us, forgiving ourselves in us, so that we can release that heaviness, step into a lighter place of who we really are as people, as beings, as love, and see and act and behave from there, regardless of how much pain is being caused. And it's not easy for me to say, but I believe it's the truth. We're only going to find ways through love and forgiveness. We're not going to find it through rebellion and separation and resentment. And furthermore, if this was a game of chess, and I'm just giving this perspective for whatever other inspiration or insight it might give, if this was a game of chess and they were really just trying to control us through emotional and psychological warfare, then all they would have to do is take actions that trigger your anger, whether it's killing people or whatever. All they would have to do is take actions that would trigger your anger and place you in a reactive state, because they know that's what would keep you down if they're coming from that mindset. Just to give that perspective. And so it literally does not serve the greater cause of harmony and of unity to act from a reactive state, from anger. We need to be the greater beings here from a space of unity, not with hate, but to always, as best we can, witness the dark with a peaceful heart, because there is a light to be seen. That's what I believe. So I really don't know what more to say. I feel sad. I feel upset. I feel hurt. And I feel a lot of empathy for the planet right now, and for the families that have lost loved ones and the communities that have lost loved ones and that are grieving and mourning. I got to give a lot of love to George Floyd's brother, who's out there spreading peace and reminding the people not that violence is not the way. He can see the truth as well. So, if I had to end on anything, if I had to leave you with a message, my message would simply be this: to take a moment of your own volition, not because you have to, not because you're being judged, not because you're being shamed, but to take a moment and to ask yourself, what is the truth inside of you right now for this moment? Maybe even asking God, source, the universe, whatever it is you believe in, what is it you can do? How can you best serve? How can you best show up? And to perhaps recognize that if you do feel helpless and you do have that sense of, but I can't do anything, that's perfectly okay, that I understand. And in addition to that, if you feel a sense of helplessness, that's where the information is. That's where you have an opportunity to empower yourself and bring love to yourself. Because that helplessness is making you feel like you don't know what to do, but it's not a question of knowing what to do. It's choosing who you want to be and letting your doing come from that space. Because when you feel helpless, I can guarantee you, if you really feel into that, what you're really feeling is on some level to be and speak your truth, but perhaps feeling like it's not enough. And so my invitation is to not let, if that's what you genuinely feel, to not let that feeling of not enoughness stop you from speaking your heart's truth. And to simply know that whatever you have, whatever truth you have, whatever your heart has to say is perfectly enough. Because any action in the step of love is more than enough. It is miraculous. No matter how small or significant, any action from that space of you speaking your truth, you stepping into more harmony with you and you, more unity with you and you, with that part of you that might feel helpless, helping that part of you out with love and speaking from that place, regardless of how not enough it might feel. That's a beautiful change. That's starting with the man in the mirror. That's being the change that you wish to see in the world. And that's letting your heart shine, lead the way. There are different actions you can take if you feel called to. You know, there's numbers that you can call to ask for charges to be pressed on the officers, the police who did what they did to George Floyd, who killed George Floyd. And again, my invitation is to listen to your heart, to not feel like you have to do anything in terms of pressuring yourself, but to just be really honest with yourself. And to harmonize any part of you that might feel helpless, that might feel shame, that might feel afraid. To love yourself there and to just let whatever wants to come out, whatever expression needs to happen, be enough, even if that's a prayer. Even if that's a prayer of, I don't know what to do, but taking a moment in silence, a minute or two, however long, to pray. And to maybe ask God, what more can I do? All right. So that's my message. I hope this helps and serves for however it may help. And that on some level, I can serve as an example of not knowing what to do, of feeling like what you have to say is not enough, but still speaking your heart's truth anyway, for whatever ripple it might cause, because it's a step in the name of love. All right. Thank you, guys. And if you want to support, if you feel like it would support, if this is what your heart is saying would support, please go ahead and share this video or whatever other videos you feel are supportive of this kind of message. I don't care if it's my own, but please go ahead and share this or whatever you feel could be supportive so that people can hear the inspiration, the insight that they might need to hear to mend the war that they're feeling inside themselves. All right. So hit the like button, do whatever gets this out there. Okay, this isn't for me. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Wishing you all a blessed day. Wishing you clarity. Wishing you to see even more of your heart's truth. And to simply realize that you are a part of this world and that your voice does matter. It is a ripple in the pond of the universe and it makes a difference. Thank you, guys.